How's it going, football fans around the world? Welcome back to my channel. This is my friend Luke Ottman. As you can tell, he is an Arsenal fan. And what we're going to be doing in today's video is just talking about the actual Premier League title contenders this season. Club season is back, and so what I thought we could do is let's just chop it up. Second half of the season hasn't really officially started yet. And so yeah, we're just going to be talking about the actual title Premier League contenders this season. All right, so first I thought that we could start off with Chelsea. Now, as we all know, Chelsea this season will not be winning the Premier League, will not be title contending, but I just thought we just have to talk about them. Chelsea are currently now in 8th place with 21 points. They are 16 points off of first, but can they contend for top 4? That is also a question in itself. What do you think, bro? Do you think Chelsea can make top 4 this season?
I do not. I think Aubameyang's too much drama, causes too much problems. No chance for Chelsea.
No chance for... Of course an Arsenal fan would be saying that because I don't think he's actually caused any problems at Chelsea as of yet.
I'm just saying, Barcelona, 6 months.
True. That is true. That is true. He did cause problem at Barca. He was a problem at Arsenal. For me, Chelsea have lost the plot here, right? I mean, if we're looking at their stats, they've only won 6. They've drawn 3 and lost 5.
I believe Conte's injured, no?
Conte is injured. They are making some signings, right? Nkunku has signed for Chelsea. So they are, I believe they're going to contend for top 4, of course. I mean, if we look at how far off they are of top 4.
And we got teams like Brighton, Newcastle up there.
Yeah, there are a few teams ahead of them that I definitely do believe they can get in front of. But will they get into top 4? Honestly, for me, as of right now, from what I've seen, even after some of the transfers they have made, I don't think they will get into top 4. I think they'll contend. I can see them getting into the 5th, 6th. But in terms of making it into top 4, as of what I've seen as of now, I just believe there are definitely 4 teams that have a way better case than them.
Do you think the situation with Roman Abramovich affects?
I mean, of course, that of course affected how they played. I mean, they fired Tuchel. All that happened. They got a new manager. It hasn't quite yet. I mean, it started off well for Potter. He started off, on fire. But they fell into a slump yet again. Like I said, I think Chelsea have lost the plot. I think there's too much drama to recover from. They don't even know who their best starting 11 is, right? I mean, they're having questions of who should be starting on the wing. Should Pulisic be playing more? What is Mason Mount and Havertz doing? They're too inconsistent. I don't see Chelsea making it to this top 4, so there's no way they're a title contender for me. Anything else to say?
I agree.
You agree? All right, so now let's get into the next team on this list. The next team on this list for me is Tottenham. It's fucking Tottenham, right? There's no way. I mean, I don't want to go on and diss Tottenham because I do have him. I did have him originally in my prediction video, I believe, making top 4. They do have a very, very killer front 3 in Kane, Kulusevski, Son, and they have some real players. But God, I mean, their mentality sometimes it just doesn't make sense to me, right? They're considered as a top team, but they play like a mid-table team many times, especially when it comes to playing against the bigger sides, right? I mean, they're a very defensive side, and I get that. I get Conte as a defensive side manager, but come on now. You got to play with some swagger a bit more. You got to play like you guys are actually a top side. I get it when you're playing like a Man City or even a Liverpool or whoever. Maybe you are more a bit defensive, but I see them do this against mid-table teams, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? Like, what am I watching? I have a lot of respect for some of the players and managers on Tottenham, but in terms of their overall era about Tottenham, this has always been Tottenham, and it just doesn't seem to work out. Are they title contenders? Hell no. Will they contend for top 4? I believe so. Will they make it? I'm not so sure. I'll have to see by the end of this next window. What about you?
I agree. Tottenham, I agree. They're going to bottle it. Like, when you look at their team sheet, they have a
title
contending
attack, right?
Yeah.
A title contending attack, but in terms of the midfield, the defense as well, a world-class keeper. But in terms of overall play, they just don't got it, do they?
Got an aging defense. Not a whole lot going on.
Not a whole lot going on there. They never seem to really make any big signings, so to see a much different team after this January window, I don't really see it. That's my thoughts on Tottenham.
They've got Perisic. He hasn't been making too much of an influence.
Oh, I forgot Perisic was even
exactly.
So yeah, all right. Are you any more else on Tottenham?
Nah, let's just
Let's just move on. Tottenham's Tottenham. That's all we got to say there. Next team I want to talk about. Let's talk about Man United. Can Man United compete for the Premier League this season? In my original prediction video, I had them finishing 7th. I'm kind of looking like a knobhead for that because it doesn't look like they're going to finish 7th. Ten Hag, rough start. A very, very rough start for Man United. But did start to pick up there after that. What was it? The first 4 matches, he started to pick up, went on a winning streak, ended up being the only side to beat this Arsenal side. So they do have some positive going forward. They ended up signing Casemiro, already adding to Varane and the attack they have forward. They are losing Cristiano Ronaldo, right? That news broke in the middle of the World Cup. Or was it before the World Cup?
It was middle of the World Cup.
Middle of the World Cup, that news broke. So they are going to be without him, but as we've seen so far, they didn't really need him. Last season they did, but as of this season, it seems Ten Hag has a system and has built his own tactics without him. I feel like they're not really going to miss a beat without him. But do they have the minerals to compete for the Premier League? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think Man United this season is solely focusing on just finishing top 4, and that I do believe they can do. Will they compete? No. They're 11 points off the top, and when it comes to Manchester City staying consistent, Manchester United staying consistent, they have a lot of problems doing that. No, I don't believe Man United can compete for the Premier League. How about you?
I say the fact that we're even talking about them. fair play to them. No, honestly, because starting the season, zero wins, 3 games. The fact that they brought it back, beat my team Arsenal, went on some pretty decent run of form. They signed Casemiro, added another Champions League winner to their squad. I think they've got the potential to get a top 4 win here.
Top four finish.
Yeah,
so yeah, we both agree. A top 4 finish is more realistic for Man United. And you know what I also believe Man United could achieve this season is a trophy. They're on a trophy drought this year. I don't see them getting the Premier League, but possibly maybe are they still in the FA Cup? Yeah, they're in the FA Cup, so they played, or Carabao Cup. I don't know if they're in the FA Cup. A Carabao Cup, a Europa League, right? That's what they're in?
Yeah.
They just made the Europa League. So, yeah, a Europa League. That's what I believe is a realistic goal for me. If I was a Man United fan, I'd be thinking top 4 finish and let's get a trophy this year. So, that's what I'm thinking for Man United.
Yeah, I think Europa League, that's going to be the biggest competition that Man United's focused on right now.
Next team to talk about here. Let's talk about Newcastle. The fact that Newcastle are even in this conversation is remarkable. Eddie Howe, wow, what a man, what a manager. I predicted Newcastle to do well this season. I think in my prediction video before the beginning of the season, I've had them finishing 8th or 7th, somewhere around there. I was not expecting this though. The fact that they're in top 4. Defensively, they are very solid. Just wow. But in terms of getting to the title, no way, right? I mean, there's just no flipping way.
I gotta put them there because they're third place currently.
We just had to talk about them just because of how sick they've had, how sick they've been at the start of the season. Top 4 is where again I think they're around, and do I believe they'll make top 4? I think they can. But do I think they'll do it? No, I think they'll just miss out. I think just getting European competition like a Europa League or even a Conference League would be sick for Newcastle. Mostly Europa League, because Conference League you're starting to drop into 6th and 7th. And I do think this Newcastle side should be, what I've seen so far, should be in Europa League contentions. So that's where I think they'll be at towards the end of the season. That's my predictions for the end of the season. How about you?
I'd love to see Newcastle finish in a Europa League spot, but name one person at the beginning of the season would have said, yeah, Newcastle are going to finish 5th place. I just don't think that's going to be doable. I think they're going to fall down mid-table, but who knows? They've got that takeover.
They do have a takeover. That is one thing going forward, but as a Manchester City fan, I'm not no bandwagon, but I do remember the start of the takeover. I wasn't really into politics at that time, but I do remember that side. At the start of the takeover, Manchester City didn't come out and get top 4, right? They started making their way up the table. First of all, making the top half, then nibbling into that top 4 conversation. I think they missed out a few times, and then after that, that's when they went forward. So there's no ways for me that this Newcastle team and squad have the minerals for it, but I said if they get European competition, I think that would be absolutely sick for this side. So that's my predictions for them, and that's where I believe they're around. Next team I want to talk about is Liverpool. Now, this is an interesting side because this is a side that from the start I had, again, finishing second. They've been battling out with Manchester City for the past 3-4 seasons for that number 1 and number 2 spot. And honestly, this year it doesn't look like they're going to get that number 1, 2 spot. Maybe not even the number 3 spot, right? I mean, this is how bad Liverpool have started. They're currently in 6th place now with 22 points. They are 15 points off the top. Do they have to fight back? Yes, but that was with the team they had last season, right? That was a team that had Sadio Mane. That was a team that still had some of their older players, still looked like they could do it. But when I look at this Liverpool side now, they look like an absolute shell of themselves. They've already dropped too many points, right? And for Liverpool, it's just hard for me. If for Liverpool to actually contend for the Premier League this season, they have to remain almost perfect for the rest of the season, right? Because although it's 15, you may be thinking, Liverpool have almost done it before. Maybe they can do it this season. Well, like I said, they would have to remain almost perfect. So the thought of them not dropping any more points from here on out, it's just unrealistic. They're not going to do it. So for me, no, they're not in Premier League title contention this year. I think for Liverpool, just focus on getting as high up that table as you can. I think they will actually sneak their way back into top 4 because I do think they will have a good January window, right? They have tons and tons of links in terms of Bellingham, Enzo Fernandez. Few other players. So I do believe this Liverpool is going to be making a comeback. But for me, this Liverpool, where I see them doing their damage again is in the Champions League. And that's where I'll be more afraid of Liverpool is in the Champions League. But in terms of the Premier League, I don't think we got to worry about them this season. What about you?
For me, Liverpool is an interesting squad because they're not doing bad. They're not doing bad. I don't think.
You don't think they're doing bad?
They beat City, haven't they? But
okay, yeah, they beat us. All right, they beat us. But in terms of placement, they're way off.
Yes, but
so they have
compared to their standards, they're bad. But
four draws and 4 losses. I mean, teams who win the Premier League typically end with that many losses and draws. So, like I said, there's no way they'll be able to.
But the point I want to make is this feels like a rebuild year. But honestly, who would they replace in their squad?
I mean, I'm thinking of Henderson. I'm thinking of, that whole midfield, right? I think that midfield is actually atrocious. I think the only one who could stay is Thiago. I'm even hearing some Liverpool players say that they want Robertson replaced because apparently he hasn't been really the same. He's having some struggles. This Liverpool side is in trouble for me. And for me, like I said, I think they will make a comeback. But in terms of the Premier League, they're going to struggle. I think their full focus is going to go on to other tournaments like the Carabao Cup, which they got tomorrow, Champions League, where they always do well in. Doesn't matter how bad they're doing. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, my only issue is Sadio Mane. How does one player change a title contending team down to a Europa Conference League team? I'm just shocked. Like Salah, he's not stepping up like he should be.
We want to talk about Mane, Firmino, and that. Yeah. I think the difference is you had Mane, when I would watch him versus City, he would always lead the lines. And not only would he lead the attack, he was the first one back on defense. I mean, he was a problem defensively. He was a problem attacking. His work rate was second to none. I think Luis Diaz has done a good job of, kind of attaining that intensity and that pressure, but he's never going to be no Sadio Mane. Not only is he not as physically a threat to other teams, technically he's not as good as Mane either. He's good. He's a hell of a winker, and I respect him a lot, but he's not no Sadio Mane. He is not no Sadio Mane. And then Nunes has come to the squad. He has some moments here. He's showing that he can do something, but it's just a lot different, right? It is just a hell of a different team. You got aging players. When it comes to, replacing some of injured players like Trent Alexander-Arnold, you're replacing them with a midfield Milner. Although it worked versus Manchester City, it's not going to work versus most teams, right? So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Liverpool. Anymore?
Yeah, I sound like I'm backing Liverpool, but unless something changes majorly in January, I don't see them in a top 4.
You don't even see them making top 4?
No. They're not making top 4 for me.
All right, now we're getting into the actual 2 teams who I believe can contend for the Premier League. And who do you want to start off with? You want to start off with City or Arsenal?
Let's start off with City. They're second place.
You know what? Yeah, let's. Okay. I see him throwing in some talk. All right. Let's start off. 5 points,
second place.
All right, bet. So let's start off with City. So what I got here for City is I believe they are I believe they are contenders. I don't think there's anybody in this world who doesn't think they're contenders right now. Like, it's City. They've been running this league for the past 5-7 years. They are for sure contenders for me. Can they catch Liverpool? Can they catch Arsenal? I almost said Liverpool. I'm so used to saying Liverpool. Yes, I do fully believe that they could catch Arsenal. Obviously, they're in second place as of now. They're 5 points behind. That's not easy in the Premier League. City have done it before, as Liverpool know, but it's not easy. Consistency is key. And when it comes to consistency, I don't believe Man City in league will be as consistent as they've been before. And the reason being, because first of all, they don't have as many playmakers on the field, right? The previous seasons, we've seen City basically, well, they did play without a striker. But the reason why I feel like that worked out in the league is because we had a team full of playmakers, right? We had De Bruyne as a false nine. We had Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Mahrez, Phil Foden, all those playmakers on the field at once. And when it comes to succeeding in the Premier League, it is all about consistency. And when you have a team full of playmakers, you're going to have consistency. And so that's why I believe Manchester City was able to do it without a striker. And that's why I believe they've been succeeding as of recently in the league and been so dominant. But now we've brought in Haaland. And although I believe he is a step in the right direction, in terms of league, maybe he wasn't. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he is a goal finisher and he is absolutely insane. But he takes a playmaker off. And if you look at the difference between City last season and City as of now this season, we haven't been creating as many chances as we typically do. We haven't been dominating games as dominant as we typically do. And the reason why I believe that being is because, like I said, there's not as many playmakers on the field. We got Haaland, who is a natural striker, a natural goal finisher. That's what he is. He has shown the ability to make a few passes here and there, but he's not known for his dribbling. He's not known for his passing. He's not known for his agility. He is a physical force to be reckoned with. And so it takes a playmaker off the field. And that's why I believe we haven't been as creative as we used to be. That's why I believe we're kind of struggling here. 5 points behind. I think in the Champions League, he's going to be a big difference maker. And that's why I believe City could succeed. Because in Premier League, you need consistency. In knockout stages and tournaments, you need magical moments. You need players who can finish. That's where I believe Haaland can succeed. He's obviously had a 6 start to the Premier League, right? He has no problem finishing and dominating defenders in the Premier League. But like I said, when it comes to consistency, I expect this City side to drop a lot more points. So I think it's really more on Arsenal. Can they keep this up? And that's where I believe the question lies. Because City are going to do their thing. They're going to drop a few more games here, but we will get the points. Haaland will drag us through many games. But can Arsenal keep it up? And that's my thoughts on City. Another thing that could possibly mess with us and the difference to Arsenal is we're in Champions League. They're in Europa League. It gets pretty hectic in the Champions League. You know, the World Cup was in the middle of the season, so things are going to get pretty tight towards the end. That's where I can see Man City having tons and tons of problems, and where maybe Arsenal breathe a little bit more easily, because although they will be in the Europa League competition, Champions League competition. So there is a difference there. But that's my thoughts on City. I fully believe we can come back. We have the players to absolutely do it. But for reasonings as to why we might not do it, well, that's what I was talking about in this video. What about you? What about City? What do you see in the City side?
Well, Haaland specifically, the idea of him, Grealish, Foden, that scares me. Them running at Gabriel and Saliba as our 2 center backs, 2 pretty young center backs. Ben White on the outside back, Zinchenko on the outside backs, really young back line. Haaland's pretty young as well. Actually, all of them are relatively young.
Yeah, we got a pretty young attack. Yeah.
But yeah, that idea of having Man City's front three running at
Anybody?
the Arsenal back four, like that kind of scares me. I feel like we're gonna drop points there, but
so you feel like Arsenal losing the league can come down to the Arsenal and City match.
I think that's the case. We're 5 points ahead. That's going to be 3 points caught up. You guys won that game. It's a much closer race.
It is a much closer race. And that's why I believe we could, because in terms of beating bigger teams, City have obviously proven we can do it. Arsenal before in the past have shown that they struggled, but they are showing improvement this season, right? They have beaten Chelsea. They beaten Liverpool. Who else have you guys beaten? Spurs.
Tottenham, yeah.
The only top 6 team that they lost to was Arsenal. They have yet to play us. We were supposed to play earlier, but that got postponed. You know, I'm kind of glad it got postponed, because I think it's just going to cause for more drama and towards the end. But I see what you're saying. So you're thinking when it comes to the big matches, City will rise to the occasion and Arsenal may drop to it?
What about in terms of managers? We got Guardiola, who is basically Arteta's mentor for the longest of times. Do you think that's going to come to play at all?
I think so. I did write here
Tactical.
in my notes that I think this Arsenal side does lack depth. I think they are inexperienced. They have a very young side, and that's why I believe Man City will catch them, is because we've seen Arsenal in big moments, big games already this season, like that Man United game. And when I was watching that Man United game, what I was taking note of is that some of their players, attacking wise, just looked lost. I thought they dominated possession. I thought they created more, not necessarily created more big opportunities, but they were in the attack more often than not. But when it came to making that final pass or making that final shot, they kind of looked lost there. And that's why I believe inexperience comes into this Arsenal side. And that's why I believe Man City will catch them, because of the experience. I mean, we've been here, done that. We've been 5 points behind. We've been 8 points, 10 points. I think at one point we were even 11 to 13 points behind Liverpool, and we still caught up. So we've been here before. But who knows? If Arsenal keep this up, and even if they do lose a few matches, maybe they do lose both games to Man City. Man City still have to be perfect the other games too, because we can beat Shaw, but then we can cancel that out by losing to Liverpool again, or losing to a mid-table team or whoever, right? So Manchester City sort of have to remain perfect, not perfect, but close to perfect for the remainder of the season as well. And like I said before, without the consistency, I can see this Manchester City side dropping 2, 3, maybe even 4 more games throughout the season. Will Arsenal be able to execute when City do that? I think that's the big question of the season. Can Arsenal execute when Man City drop points? Will Arsenal rise to the occasion, or will they drop?
As an Arsenal fan, I'm here to back my team. I love the personality that Arteta's brought into the club. We've got young guys like Ramsdale, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, all these young players. I've never seen a desire or passion this much.
As an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, as an Arsenal fan. I'm just hoping we keep our consistency. I know the drive and passion is there. I've seen it in interviews, documentaries, the all or nothing. That's a big one. But
this guy, that all or nothing, eh?
Man. And this season is all or nothing, really, if you think about it.
So what is your goal as an Arsenal fan, what are you hoping to achieve this season?
I'm just going for top 4. I feel like making
top 4.
Yes.
So what if you drop to 3rd? You don't want 2nd?
I feel like all this success kind of hit us out of nowhere. It kind of took me as an Arsenal fan myself surprised. I was surprised us to see win after win after win after win. We dropped points to United, win after win after win. This got me off guard. I feel like all this success came too quickly almost. I'm still in the mindset of we're going to bottle games like almost a Tottenham.
So you're looking at it as a more negative way. So you're a more negative Arsenal fan. So you want top 4
I'm
finish.
just happy to be here.
This guy is just happy to be. So you want a top 4 finish? That's what you want?
I want to win league, but I'm happy.
No, but what's your expectation this year?
Yeah, expectations top 4.
Top 4. So not number 2, just top 4.
Yeah, just top 4.
And do you think you can win maybe?
I don't think there's any chance of us finishing below 2nd, but
so you think you'll finish 2nd?
Yes, I agree. I think
you think you'll finish 2nd. And do you guys want to win the Europa? Like, are you hoping to win the Europa League? Like, do you believe you should win the Europa League?
There's a lot of good teams in the Europa League. Barcelona's in it, I believe.
Oh yeah, they have been a lot of drops in the Champions League.
Yeah, a lot of Champions League dropping down.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's why I'm kind of asking you these questions. Because if I was an Arsenal fan this year and I'm looking at this side and I'm looking at what we have achieved so far, I'm thinking top 2, minimum 3rd. Like, there should be no question that we make top 4. If I was an Arsenal fan, no question that we make top 4. Exactly. And honestly, there should be no reason why we drop to number 2. That would be my thought as an Arsenal fan. And then outside of that, I would be saying this year we have to win a trophy, whether it be
100%,
whether it be one of the domestic trophies. Are you guys in the FA Cup?
We've been knocked out of both.
All right, yeah. So then it's all or nothing in the Europa League, and then the top 2 finish, and basically we have to contend for the title and win the Europa. That would be if I was an Arsenal fan. Is that
my expectations are us winning league, but what I'm saying is I'm settling for a top 4 finish. I just want to see Arsenal in the UCL again. I want to see us in.
You want to see so you want to be in the Champions League. Yeah, so that's your main goal, is be in the Champions League.
Yeah,
main goal. I get it.
So Champions League, but I'm expecting a title contention. I'm expecting it to go down to game 38.
38. Honestly, I can see that. For the longest time, I didn't think this Arsenal side could do it. I kept telling my friends and myself, I don't believe this Arsenal side is better than any of the previous Liverpool sides. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I didn't think that Arsenal can do it, is because if we're looking back, that Liverpool side was amazing and still wasn't able to get over the line versus Man City. And that's another reason why I believe Man City will win. But, 5-point lead. They're looking pretty good. They're beating some of the top teams. I'm starting to turn into a believer. Not fully yet, but as of right now, I still got City winning the league. That's going to be my predictions for the rest of the year. City winning the league. What is your prediction? Arsenal or City?
37 points, 14 matches played. Every other team except like Newcastle in 1999 or something has won league with this amount of points. And
I did see that stat. So you got Arsenal winning the league then?
I want to say yes, but I'm not confident in my yes.
So it's like
I'm
yes or no. So who I'm make right now? City or Arsenal? Who's winning the league?
Arsenal. I'm back.
Arsenal's winning the league. All right, I got City winning the league, representing the throwback jerseys.
Yeah, that's all.
You got Arsenal winning the league.
That's what it comes down to.
All right.
Game 38.
So those are our
game 38.
Those are our way too early predictions. This was Luke Ottman. He's obviously an Arsenal fan. Thank you so much for being on my channel.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Who do you guys believe are title contenders this season? Who do you believe who will make top 4? Who are the real contenders for that? But yeah, other than that, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.